I want to give you a quote that I usually give, and I hope you don't get tired of it, but it's just true. Lysander Spooner said, whatever the Constitution may be, this thing is for certain, that it's either authorized such a tyrannical government as we have, or it's powerless to stop it. In either case, it is unfit to exist. Ronald Reagan said,
the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Well, I want to add something to the end of that. I'm from the government and I'm here to help myself to your stuff. And that's what the FBI did when they lied to the courts. They lied to the judges about what they did with U.S. private vaults. I don't know if you remember back in March of 2021, they broke into U.S. private vaults. And the reason they did that is going to be made clear in this article from The Intercept. It says the FBI overstepped authority and warrantless search of hundreds. It was like up to 700 safe deposit boxes. The Ninth Circuit compared the searches to the abuse of power that led to the adoption of the Fourth Amendment in the first place back in the 1700s, when the colonists said, that's it. We are not going to have this writ of assistance thing being written by the British where they can just poke their noses in every aspect of our lives. And that's what the FBI did with U.S. private vaults and all the customers, not some of the customers, not just U.S. private vaults who they said were guilty of these crimes, but everybody who is a customer of U.S. private vaults. The FBI overstepped its constitutional authority. God, just imagine that. The FBI overstepped their constitutional authority. I wonder why they would do that. How often do they do that is the question. When agents searched hundreds of safe deposit boxes without warrants in 2021, the court compared the FBI's tactics to the kind of indiscriminate searches that led to the enactment of the Bill of Rights in the first place. It's the whole reason we got it, FBI, is to stop you guys and people like you from thinking they can run roughshod over the rest of Americans. On March 2021, the FBI raided U.S. Private Vaults, a safe deposit box company in Beverly Hills, California. The company marketed its services around client anonymity and privacy, and that's something the government does not want private Americans to have, anonymity and privacy. They've got to poke their noses in everybody's business because they suspect you of committing a crime. You're not innocent until proven guilty. In the eyes of the FBI and agencies like that, you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. It's up to you. It's the burden of proof is on you. You got to show me why you got all this money in your safe deposit box, why you have all this gold and all this jewelry and all these documents in your safe deposit box before you can get them back, which appealed to gambling rings and drug operations, but also customers who were unable to get a deposit box at their bank or simply mistrusted banks and preferred to store their valuables elsewhere in anonymity. The FBI seized millions of dollars. From what I understand, it was $86 million in cash, not counting the amount of jewels and all the other personal effects that they collected, plus a mix of jewelry, personal effects, and the documents such as wills and prenuptial agreements. In litigation filed in federal district court in May 2021, victims of the raid argued that the FBI search flagrantly violated their Fourth Amendment rights, and it did. If they even went into one person's box who they didn't suspect of committing a crime, they violated the right to be secure in your persons and your property. In October 2022, the trial judge ruled there was no Fourth Amendment violation. The Ninth Circuit of Appeals unanimously reversed the lower court's decision on Tuesday. Thank goodness. This is kind of rare. It's kind of rare for a higher court to actually do this. The court ruled that the FBI exceeded the bounds of the warrant obtained prior to the raid, which explicitly did not authorize any criminal searches of the box's actual contents. The FBI didn't just violate the Fourth Amendment, they violated their own internal order to not go into any other boxes. They don't care. And there's pictures, if you look on the internet, of the raid of U.S. private vaults, you see the FBI just going through all the safe deposit boxes. It's disgusting. The FBI's warrant application omitted key details of the raid plan, including that the special agent in charge had directed agents to open every box, preserve fingerprint evidence, inventory the contents, and have drug dogs sniff all the cash. And there's another crazy thing right there. You can say you have probable cause that this cash was used in the commission of some kind of drug crime, but that's unfair in and of itself because, as studies have shown, upwards of 90 to 95% of all cash have drug residue on them. Namely, the biggest drug residue on most American cash is cocaine. So yeah, they can have the drug dog sniff, but it doesn't matter. They could sniff the cash that's in the FBI man's wallet that he's going to use to go to lunch that day, and that drug dog will hit on his wallet too because that money has drugs on it. It's not fair. If there remained any doubt regarding whether the government conducted a criminal search or seizure, the Ninth Circuit ruled, that doubt is put to rest by the fact that the government has already used some of the information from inside the boxes to obtain additional warrants to further its investigation and begin new ones. So it doesn't just stop with U.S. private vaults. It doesn't just stop with the U.S. private vault clientele. They're going to use documentation to begin new cases for that specific individual. At oral arguments in December, one of the three judges on the Ninth Circuit panel called the FBI's search of each safe deposit box without probable cause egregious and outrageous. Another likened the FBI's actions to the maligned general warrants and writs of assistance issued in colonial times, which authorized British officials to search colonists' homes indiscriminately for smuggled tea and other items. The writ of assistance was also called a writ of possession. They could actually take possession of and evict you from your home if they thought you were in possession of something that was, in the British estimation, illegal. The Ninth Circuit's opinion repeated these concerns. The court found it particularly disturbing that the government failed to explain why its arguments would not open the door to the kinds of writs of assistance the British authorities used prior to the founding to conduct limitless searches of an individual's personal belongings. And of course they failed to explain why, because their intention is to do that. Their intention is to get away with it. Their intention is to violate the Fourth Amendment. And they don't care if there was a limitation within the warrant itself saying, hey, you can't look into any of these other boxes, as they look into all the other boxes. It was those very abuses of power, after all, that led to the adoption of the Fourth Amendment in the first place, according to the court. Good ruling. Good ruling. 5 days after being grilled at the oral argument, the government tried to make the case go away without a precedent-setting ruling that the FBI's actions were unconstitutional. Of course, they're trying to push it under the rug because they don't want the public to know what the FBI is all about. They're all about violating your constitutionally protected rights. They're all about helping themselves to your stuff, and they don't want you to have a voice, and they don't want the public to see that there's now a precedent that the court ruled against the FBI because they did violate people's rights. That's how disgusting and dark and dishonest and evil they are. Government attorneys filed a motion to ask the Ninth Circuit to give the plaintiffs what they wanted in order to destroy records from the FBI search, because the FBI kept records of all of the private documents in these people's boxes, and the FBI wanted to keep those. The plaintiffs said, hey, you need to destroy those. That's our property. The government had fought against destruction of the records for more than 2 years, and the plaintiffs' attorneys were surprised by the about face, which they called an attempt to sweep a massive constitutional violation under the rug. I'm going to read the last sentence right here, but this is from one of the attorneys from the Institute of Justice. He says, today's opinion draws a line in the sand. If this had come out the other way, the government could have exported this raid as a model across the country. Now the government is on notice that its actions violated the Fourth Amendment. And that's exactly what would have happened. If the higher court ruled in the FBI's favor, they would have used this court case as precedence for continuing to do what they did with U.S. private vaults. And that it didn't go their way, and they wanted to hide this under the rug to keep this court case from becoming a precedence, that shows everything that the FBI is about. So when somebody tells me, like Owen Benjamin says, that the government is not effing with you, well, tell the 700 people who had a safety deposit box, innocent people who had safety deposit boxes, who did nothing wrong. They got raided by the FBI and their possessions were taken without charge, without trial, without due process of law, in violation of the Fourth Amendment that's supposed to protect you. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list or my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, the links are in the description. Grab a shirt, become a channel member, but more importantly, fight for your rights. If you don't exercise your rights, you're going to lose them. The price of freedom is now and will always be eternal vigilance. And indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. I will see you in the next video.